Hi there. Welcome to Skip versus Ernestine. This is round 23, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I'm Skip from Oklahoma City. She's Ernestine from New York. This is Hazel. Can you see Hazel? She's down here. She's from Burbank, California. Quiet for the moment, we hope. And by the way, if you happen to be watching our episode right now, as it's posted on my channel, on the Skip Bayless channel, we have a new channel.
Yeah, we do.
We've got a Skip versus Ernestine channel, and we're sort of segueing over to that channel slowly but surely. So if you want to go there, it's youtube.com/@skipvs Ernestine. youtube.com, then hit your slash, then @skip versus VS Ernestine. And that's going to be our new home and our lone home at some point pretty soon. So we hope that you will transition with us to find us over on our new channel.
Make your way.
And please subscribe to our new channel.
It's free.
Yeah, I'm doing fine on my channel. We need you on.
Come to me. Come to me.
Yeah, come to her.
Come to my house.
She needs all the help she can
I need
get,
all the help
especially for this episode, because
right.
we're about to get down and
here
dirty.
we are. Scare tactics.
Look, we do bicker a lot on this episode. We disagree, but we do love each other as passionately and emotionally as any couple I know. We're going to get to that. And we do feed off your probing and provocative questions.
Yeah, we like the questions.
Your criticism, we feed off that too.
We like the criticism.
We take our shots, you take yours, so please fire away. We're about to get to your questions, but we got into this on last week's episode. Bill Belichick's girlfriend, what's her name, Jordan Hudson?
I think everyone in the
She's
world
become
knows
famous
now
for 15 minutes.
Jordan Hudson.
Okay, this is a situation that got even crazier after we posted our episode last week. Now, you think that Belichick's going to get fired because
I don't know how he's going to get past this
he's all but letting his 24-year-old girlfriend run his life and run his North Carolina football program.
But everybody is weighing in. Not only us, everyone in the world. It's like everybody has an opinion of this. Charles Barkley has an opinion of this. Everyone in the world. But then I read this morning, last night, that he's hiring a PR firm.
Yeah.
So he's trying to...
I think he leaked that.
Yeah, to make people
to
aware
try
he knows what's going on.
Puncture this runaway helium balloon of Belichick's going to get fired.
I feel bad for him. I just feel bad. I don't know why he...
This is the first time in Belichick's life that the media, who has always worshipped Belichick, has turned on Belichick.
Well, he's always been so quiet. That's been to
Look,
me.
we want to be very clear about this. Neither of us has any problem with Belichick dating a 24-year-old. If that's what you want to do, that's fine.
I don't have a problem with the age. I have a problem with she's making him look bad. I just think that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he doesn't see this. So I feel bad for him. And I just feel like he needs to take control. And I don't know, it's not a good look for his new job.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. Bill Belichick is a scoundrel. He got busted for cheating in Spygate back in 2007.
I get that, but I still don't think he
deserves
this.
And now he's a desperate scoundrel because, remember, he got exposed before Brady fell out of the sky into his lap. He was a sub-500 with the Cleveland Browns, and then he came to New England. They went 5-11. They were 0-2, and Brady fell out of heaven into his lap.
And then they had the Deflategate. What was it called?
They had Deflategate, but I think that was on Belichick more than Brady.
Okay.
But the point was, once he pushed Brady out the back door, he wanted to show the world he was the genius. That the dynasty was mostly him. And instead, they were way under 500 for the 4 years, and they played in only one playoff game, and they lost to Buffalo 47-17. And they never even made Buffalo punt. So he got exposed while Brady went down to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. So now he's desperate because, remember, the whole NFL said no to him. We went through 2 hiring cycles of 7 teams and 6 teams. Nobody wanted Bill Belichick. And all of a sudden he goes to Carolina, which is college football, where you have to actually
go out
go
and recruit. I know,
18-year-olds.
I know.
So I told you, he's such a shrewd operator that I believed he said, aha, I do have a 24-year-old girlfriend who's like a social media force.
No, but I never
so she needs to show me and help me with my cachet, with my credibility on social media.
Okay, if that was in the beginning for an iota, which I don't believe it ever was, it backfired, okay? It just totally backfired. Okay. This is a bad
He created a monster in her, a runaway monster.
I don't know how you let her
because she
control
began
your
to
career.
run the program, run his life. He said, well, she's
Every
my
email
muse.
has
That's
the muse. That's not a muse.
I am amused by that because, yeah, she is now taking over everything. She is the reason HBO canceled Hard Knocks at North Carolina because they said she wanted to control the show.
God, this is just like, what
and
happened to his brain? I don't get
the Super Bowl ad that was the Dunkin' Donuts with the Affleck brothers, Ben and Casey.
Yeah.
And she, according to page 6 in the New York Post, Hazel's got an itch.
Yeah.
It's funny. She forced her way into that ad. So now the social media dynamo has become the monster who ate North Carolina.
The straw that broke the camel's back is the CBS morning show, the Sunday morning. That really was
She is overseeing the interview from a little perch to the left. And as soon as the interviewer, you know him, I don't know him.
Tony DeCopel.
Yeah, okay. DeCopel. Soon he asked a pretty tame question.
He just said, how did you two meet?
How'd you two meet? And it's been out there how they met, supposedly on a plane. Maybe there's another story. But
she just said, we're not going there.
We're not.
But that's so
ridiculous.
We're not
going to answer that. What? You're not?
But they also said, I read that there was so much more, that CBS did not sabotage them, that there was so much more that they cut out of her being part of it that they just didn't want to air it.
Well, it's gotten to the point where I'm sure the deep-pocketed boosters who basically run that program, who gave Bill Belichick $10 million a year for 5 years, are now asking behind closed doors, Bill, what the hell are you doing?
No.
Because we've become a national laughingstock now when we hired you for credibility here. Because they've always had basketball credibility, but not football. And now they have laughingstock credibility.
It's terrible. I just think he needs to...
So do you think he'll get fired?
I don't think he's going to get fired, but I think that's the road it's going if he doesn't nip it in the bud. Maybe this PR person will nip it in the bud for him, but I think she needs to step out of the way. I think she needs to take a back seat
immediately. I think we're way past
immediately.
Stepping out of the way.
Well, I don't know how you can have her still involved if you have a PR person that you're hiring who has a big sports background.
I'm afraid this could require Belichick severing the relationship.
That could be.
Right? The romantic side, you're going to have to do away with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm not sure she's going to stay in her place
I think
off camera.
She's running now for Miss Maine this month.
Oh, she is? I didn't know that. Oh, great.
She's up for Miss Maine because that's where she's from.
Maybe she should be with Cooper Flagg, who's going to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft.
That could work.
That'd be, is
he from Maine?
Yeah, he's like... I think he's too young for her. He's like
he's
19,
23.
19.
Oh, too young, yeah.
Okay, so quick comment that we got from YouTube, speaking of, this is at 406DN7, who says, I'm more or less the same age as Bill Belichick. I've been married to my one and only wife for nearly 47 years.
That's amazing.
Congrats.
Good.
Success takes many different forms. Dating a woman young enough to be your granddaughter does not fit many definitions of success. It smacks of an inability of accepting where you are in life.
Yeah, I get that. Again, I don't care how old someone is and how old the other person is they're dating. That doesn't matter to me. It's just when it gets out of hand, and this is an out-of-hand situation. Okay. I guess he needs to talk to somebody, Belichick.
Look, for at 406, I appreciate that you've been with the same woman for 47 years. It's a long time. It's hard. You're going on the big 50, the big 50. Yes. It's just hard, but you can't impose your perspective and your lifestyle and your values on Belichick and condemn him. You're probably right.
No, I mean, he has a point. About he does have a point because
accepting
that's not...
where you are in life. But because Bill Belichick is considered the quote-unquote greatest coach ever, and I think he's totally overrated. I think it was 75, 80% Brady. But because of that, he's able to get, what's the old Chris Rock line? Man is only as faithful as his options. Well, Belichick's got lots of options because of Tom Brady.
Right, but sometimes we have gone to the restaurant Craig's here, which is a celebrity type establishment for years. TMZ sits outside. It's just a big hangout to see who's the who that goes in there. Mm-hmm. And every time we go in there, there's a table with a guy who's probably 90, and there's a girl who's probably 20, maybe 2 or 3 girls with him. And he was a producer, director, whatever, and they're wannabe actresses, models, whatever they are. That's that. So he is just so happy he's with these 19-year-olds, and he's 90. Well, the reason that they're there, we know why the reason they're there, and it is what he's saying, that to him, he's successful because he's 90 and he still has 19-year-olds.
Well, I kept telling you, the message that Belichick is sending to potential 18-year-old recruits is, oh, Bill's still got his fastball.
Yeah, but it's turned on it now.
He's still got big game on and off the field. He's got a hot 24-year-old.
Yeah, but that's okay if she just stood on the sideline and she was like, hey, I'm so proud of him and he's my guy. Look, but when you're running his career.
Maybe they really love each other. I have no idea.
Maybe they do, but
maybe Bill loves her energy beyond her hotness or whatever, right? Well, maybe that youthful energy, he just
That's fine, but she needs to stay in her lane. Her lane is not his lane.
No.
So, and she's 1 second away from ruining his whole career that he's built up for.
So, how much longer does this relationship last? Because that's always the problem with 24 and 73. At some point, 24 says, well, "Wait a second, I want to have children."
Do you remember Talladega Nights? When Will Ferrell is no longer the hot
Ricky Bobby,
yeah, and his
he loses his courage.
Yeah, he loses his courage, and he loses that he's not the hot driver anymore. And then what's his name? John C. Reilly shows up with Leslie Bibb, who's the girlfriend, his wife, and she says, I don't go with losers. So all of a sudden, he moved into the house.
He did,
and
like
they took
overnight.
The painting, the family portrait, and they put John C. Reilly's picture where Will Ferrell's picture was. That, if Bill Belichick ends up without a career anymore, how long will she stay with him?
That's a great
the question.
That
That's a Jeopardy question.
That would be a real love question.
Well,
do you really love him or not?
Right. So then she'll have to, hopefully she wins Miss Maine, and then they can go on her coattails.
Okay. Speaking of high-profile relationships, George Clooney was on CBS Mornings and said this to Gayle King about George Clooney's 10-year marriage to Amal. Is that her name? Amal? Yeah, Amal. Okay. He said, and I quote, I remember we were here with you once before, and I remember we said we'd never had an argument. We still haven't. We're trying to find something to fight about, said George Clooney, who then added, I feel so extraordinarily lucky to have met this incredible woman. I feel as if I hit the jackpot. There isn't a day that goes by where I don't think I'm the luckiest man in the world, so it's great.
That's amazing for George, but I find this is just ridiculous.
This relationship, we disagree about 4 or 5 times every day.
I know,
right?
I know tons of couples. I know straight couples. I know gay couples. I know lots of different couples. Everyone, especially when they have kids, there's always, it may not be a drag down, beat up each other fight, but there's always a disagreement. The kid wants to play football. The wife, I think it's too barbaric. Whatever it is, there's always a disagreement. I'm sorry. I would love to know how these people don't have any. And it says that, I read another interview because I read Us Magazine this weekend and a bunch of others, and they were all bringing this up again. Yeah. That someone said, a friend of theirs said, well, they wait, they don't step on each other's when they're speaking, they respect each other. Well, that doesn't mean, that sounds like a business arrangement. That sounds like it's my job at work. I don't, my boss, I can't really say anything to my boss. So that's your relationship? I find it hard to believe. It must be a very sterile relationship.
I am calling BS on George Clooney, and it's Hollywood stereotype BS. When we first moved out here in 2016, our friend Billy Bob Thornton gave us a book about all the past Hollywood scandals dating back to the 20s and 30s. And the studios tried to protect the gay actor.
Well, of course, there was always, they would have, it's the studio system. They would set up the female to go out with the male actor as a beard or whatever, or just put two together because they knew America wanted that couple, but it wasn't a real relationship.
No.
It was for Hollywood.
So George Clooney, they live in Italy, I think.
They live in Lake Como.
Yeah, he's still
And now he's in New
Hollywood.
York doing the Broadway show, but she did not show up
so they need
for
to
opening night.
make the media myth that they never argue, when they probably walked off the set and argued about him saying that publicly, where she said, "How dare you?" After what happened yesterday when we got into it over X,
he's
Y, and
on
Z.
Broadway now. You know, he's playing Edward R. Murrow, and apparently she did not show up for opening night. And they said behind the scenes he was a little mad about it, but they also said that, she decided to stay with the kids in Italy.
Oh.
So
You
your husband is opening Broadway night?
I don't know.
I find that hard to believe. But they said that she's tired of always having to do what he says.
Well, there's another one.
Right, but...
So you don't think they've had any discussions about this?
Friends. My sister and I fight.
Do
my
you?
Best
I
friend
hear it
and
on the phone like 5 times a day. They're screaming at each other, and then all of a sudden, you call her back 10 minutes later, and it's like, hey, what's going on?
Right. My best friend, Francesca. We never had really, I've known her for over 20-something years, but we don't fight, but we disagree about stuff. I'll say, really? I don't think that. Yeah, I think that. Everybody does. It's normal.
It is kind of the lifeblood of a relationship.
You have to. Do you want to have pizza tonight? No, I'd rather have, let's go and get Chinese food or something.
Want to watch Mobland tonight?
No.
It's too bloody. Come on, just watch one.
Right.
Because it's getting really good.
That.
We're going to get to that in just a moment.
I don't know. I'd love to find out. I'd love to just live with them for a week.
Okay, here's a comment from YouTube from @JustSayingPA. It's not a pretty comment. Get ready.
Oh, it's a zinger.
No, every bad interaction chips away at your relationship until it severs, says Just Saying. If every time you get it wrong at work and your boss yells and fights with you, you'd quit and find a new job. Instead, your boss respectfully has a conversation with you, tells you what's wrong, why, and how to fix it. I cringe watching you, this is aimed at you,
me.
watching you and Skip bicker over everything. If it's not healthy, it's not going to last, says Just Saying.
Well, I don't know if Just Saying has ever had a relationship or has been in a relationship, because that's what it's all about.
Okay, Just Saying. I'm going to address you in this. You have a fair point about if you just flat out fight day after day after day.
Well, you should get a divorce.
Like I'm about to get, I'm going to bring this movie up in a little bit. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf with Liz and Richard, as in Liz Taylor and Richard Burton. If you watch that, my mom took me to this when I was like, I don't know, 10 years old.
Right, it's a classic.
Yeah, but it plays like a horror movie on the emotional front. Hey, she's growling about it. Ooh. And they fight because they try to rip each other's hearts out. We've had a few of those.
Aren't they also alcoholics?
Yeah, they got all kinds of problems going on. He's a professor at some university, and they have another couple over, and then they just go at it in front of the other couple.
Yeah.
Who is it, Sandy?
Sandy Dennis
and somebody.
I can't remember.
Okay. The point being that, we probably fight more than we should, but she grew up with that.
I don't think
and
it's
I'm getting
fights.
more used to it. It's just the way she communicates.
I don't think it's fights.
All right? And yet, here's the point for Just Saying. As God is my witness, in 20 years with her, I've never 1 minute been bored. Not ever been bored. Like, I always look forward to everything we ever do. Every Friday night date night, every Wednesday night, if I have an hour and we can watch Jeopardy or whatever we're going to watch, or catch up on The Studio or whatever.
I don't know. People have a different idea of what fighting is, definitions of fighting. fighting to me is when you're, massively fighting, War of the Roses fighting. When you're just saying, oh, I don't want, I don't feel like going to the movies. I feel like hanging out at home. Oh, really, I want to go to the movies. To me, that's not a fight. That's just like, okay, we have to talk about what we're going to do. It's not a fight. A fight is when you're blowing out of the room and you're banging the door and you're, running down hopping in your car and leaving.
Okay.
That to me is a fight.
And a lot of the quote unquote fights we have,
they're really a disagreement.
It's because she is so fiercely loyal and supportive of me that she gets mad when something's not going right, maybe career-wise or whatever it might be, and that leads to a tiff where we disagree on something, and I'm like, calm down, it's going to be okay. But I'm getting better at knowing that it's just a form. You're actually showing your love for me.
Well, it's expressing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's normal. If people don't express their feelings in a relationship, then I don't know how that relationship lasts.
Well, our relationship is alive.
Well, we've had people tell us when we first met, that's never going to last. And meanwhile, their relationships broke up, and we were still together.
I had friends in Oklahoma City say, what are you doing? A Jewish girl from New York?
Right.
I'm from Oklahoma City, and I'm Christian. Like, it won't work.
And meanwhile, every single one of their relationships ended.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, we're still hanging in there after 20 years.
Everybody has fights and agreements, disagreements.
And by the way, another final YouTube comment on this topic is from Tariq H. Lindsay. Thank you for this one. Any man would be lucky to click with his woman like this.
Thank you.
That is true. That is
Thanks.
very true, because she's very special person with special energy that I just feed off of.
Thank you. And you and I click.
Yeah,
so
we just click.
whatever
And it's hard to
reason,
explain, but it works.
It's not just fighting 24/7.
It works because it's not static. It's not boring. The reason I look forward to it is because it's always edgy. It's always got life to it.
I don't want boring.
And when life happens, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to be aware of what's happening
I'm very
around you.
opinionated, as you know from my other work, and she's very opinionated, so you're going to disagree.
But doesn't mean a blowout fight.
All right, next question. This is from Jackson from Manhattan Beach, California, which is a great place not too far from where we sit right now. You two always make references to I Love Lucy. Why do you connect with it so much? Do you see yourselves in the characters? We've mentioned this before, but you can tell the story. This past Saturday,
I love Lucy.
Oh,
I've always
she
loved
lives
Lucy.
for Lucy.
I mean, I don't think there's a person that walks on this planet that does not know I Love Lucy.
Okay, and so what did we do?
It's transcended past generation.
We took a field trip.
Right, and still holds up. And I saw there was an exhibit at the Hollywood Heritage Museum, which is a museum that's by the Hollywood Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a Lucy exhibit, and I was going to go with just my sister. And then I said to you, hey, do you want to go? And you said, all right, well, I'll go. So you hopped along, and the three of us.
Because the playoffs calmed down a little bit, the NBA playoffs, where the last couple of Saturdays, it seems like I've had 4 games in a row.
So you had a couple of hours free.
Yeah, and I had a couple hours before a game 7
and it wasn't going
Saturday
to be an all-day
night.
thing.
Yeah.
So we all piled into the car,
Yeah.
and we went to the Hollywood Museum, Hollywood Heritage Museum. And
We did.
They had the amazing Lucy
It was
exhibit. And
astounding with the detail.
Everybody knows the Vitamita Vegemin.
They know that episode. Where she gets a little tipsy.
She's drinking
drunk.
They had the original Vitamita Vegemin bottle. They had
which has alcohol in it.
They had a replica
And
of the
it's
fireplace.
tasty, too.
Yeah, and it's tasty too. They had a replica of the fireplace in their living room, and they had the actual statues from that they have on the fireplace. They had her necklaces and her earrings that she wore. They had blouses. It was great. So
okay, one of the early reasons, the first time we talked on the phone, that we clicked was over I Love Lucy, because
otherwise
I don't love it quite like you do, but I know every episode. I know all the details. I know the scripts. I know the plot lines. I know it all.
Yeah.
And the point was, she is Lucy. That's what I came to find, is that she is Lucy Ricardo.
Lucy was always trying to come up with schemes
something.
and ideas with her best friend Ethel.
She has a best friend named Francesca, and she's your Ethel.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll send her an email and say, I'll say, Lucy, what do you think about this? Signed Ethel. Like we do that all the time. We come up with crazy ideas.
And they are crazy,
Yeah.
and they're edgy, and they're nutty.
But they're funny,
and
we
they
do things.
turn my life upside down occasionally, just the way Lucy would
he's
turn
like Ricky.
Ricky's life
Yeah.
upside down. And I'm working at the Copacabana. Is that
Right,
where
yeah, he worked at the Copacabana. Right, and he was at the Copa.
I'm the leader of the
Yeah,
band, right?
But
I'm the leader of my own band.
There was something about why it's lasted from the 50s to now.
It has lasted, and if you've never
She
seen it,
was
you can
brilliant.
find it on any Hulu or
it's
wherever.
on every.
It's
oh my
everywhere.
God, it's everywhere.
And they're half-hour episodes, so the content's like 22 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And they are amazingly well written.
Oh,
and
the writing is fabulous.
perfectly
and the acting
acted
is incredible.
because
and
the chemistry between Lucy and Ricky and Fred and Ethel, it's just the greatest
it's
ever.
timeless because also they have arguments that hold up to today.
They do.
Why people have arguments today, and they were the married couple.
Yeah, and Ricky's constantly like,
Right. Ricky's always, you know, and
she's always into something, or she gets into something she can't get out of.
right, but she'll find a way out, and then she always ends up in the episode. She's always the one that was proved him wrong, you know, like I told you so, and it's just, and the clothing is fabulous.
Okay, so she is Lucy.
So that's why we
and
love I Love
it was
Lucy.
special to us that we went together. I think
Yeah.
it meant something to
It
you
was
that I
great.
went to see the Lucy.
And the line was out the door to get in. I mean,
was.
everybody wanted to see this presentation, and they had a guest panel of people that collect I Love Lucy memorabilia and how they obtain the memorabilia and what it meant to them, and it was just amazing. And
They shot it in a house out in the San Fernando Valley here in L.A.
right
in the early. I think it was.
mid 50s.
Is it the mid 50s?
Yeah, it had to be like 54, 55.
And it was way out there.
And it was the first show
try
done in
this.
color,
Yeah.
right? First they started in black and
They
white,
did.
and then they went to color.
And then to have a Cuban American lead was like way out there.
Well, and that they were married, and that
they
she
were-
was not Cuban.
Yeah.
And she was the brains behind the whole Desilu Productions.
She was.
She
Right.
was the reason. She ran that studio. She was the
Right.
first female to run a studio.
So
in real life.
the
So
point is, to your question, this is
why do we
Jackson.
connect with it?
It's seriously, she is Lucy. Trust
I'm
me
proud
on that.
to be Lucy.
Okay, next question is from Bill from Jackson, Mississippi. I went there one time with my parents.
I've been to Grenada,
visit some-
Mississippi.
Have you?
Yeah,
Grenada? Wow.
when I did fashion,
okay.
there was a mill there.
Really? Okay. I once played golf at Jackson Country Club. Couldn't
Okay.
believe it. I was like a beggar, a pauper.
Okay.
Okay, but the point is, Bill says, love the actors top 10 that we did last
Oh, yeah, we
week.
did the top
What are your
10.
top 5 actresses? And we can also call them, as many women prefer,
Actors top 5, not 10.
female actors. Yeah,
We
top
did
5.
last week.
Okay, top 5 female actors, if you will.
Right.
Okay, do you want to start with your top 5?
Okay. Well, I found this difficult because to me, there's way more actors to choose from that stick in my head consistently.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, so
because-
you struggled to get 5 who qualified?
Yeah, I
Wow,
did.
I didn't.
I did. Only because to me, it's harder for actresses in my world that I think of actresses that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies in a row, they're great. For me, guys, I have De Niro, I have Pacino, I have Kevin Costner, I've got Mel Gibson, I've got Robert Redford. For the women, I thought of a female actress that I liked, and I was like, oh yeah, I like that movie. But when was the next movie they did? Then it goes, okay. So mine is I love old movies, and I have to say by number 1 would be Bette Davis, because Bette Davis is iconic, and she's played in a million iconic movies.
All right.
The next one is Faye Dunaway, because
Ding,
I
ding,
love
ding, ding,
Faye
ding.
Dunaway from everything, from Bonnie and Clyde to Chinatown to 3 Days of the Condor to Mommy Dearest to whatever.
Network.
Okay, network.
Thomas Crown Affair.
Thomas Crown Affair. Okay, Diane Keaton, because I love Woody Allen.
Okay,
And
I knew
love
you were going to go Diane Keaton.
Annie Hall.
And I can't.
You can't get better than Annie Hall with Diane Keaton.
I can't
and
argue
Sleeper.
with that. Yeah.
And it goes on and
Okay.
on and on. Okay.
All right.
Next one is our neighbor, Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
And I love her old movies more than the newer, but for me, you know, Any Wednesday and Sunday in New York are my two favorite Jane Fonda movies
Okay,
ever.
she won Academy Awards for Clute and Coming Home.
Okay.
So you got to put those in
But
there.
I love her old stuff.
And then They Shoot Horses, don't
Shoot
they?
Horses, Don't
and
They?
Golden Pond
Oh,
and Barefoot. Did you say Barefoot in the Park?
Barefoot in the Park. No,
Okay.
that's my other favorite movie.
China Syndrome, Julia.
Oh, you can go
Agnes
on
of
and on. And then her
God.
series that
Okay.
she did with Lily
All right.
Tomlin.
Okay.
You know. And then my fifth, this is just, I don't even know. My fifth one, I like Angela Bassett, but
Okay.
but it's hard to find, I can't, off the top of my head, 3 or 4 movies in a row.
She's done
And
a
then
lot of stuff, though.
I like Anne Hathaway.
Okay, you've gone past 5
Okay,
now.
and then my last one is Ginger Rogers, only because with Fred Astaire, every single movie Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire did, Top
just
Hat, Flying
danced.
Down to Rio.
Okay.
She was an actress. What do you
I
think?
know,
She
but
didn't
she danced
speak?
more than
well,
she
of course she had to
acted.
speak a role. She had a script. Anyway, those are mine.
Well, who's your fifth? I think you couldn't decide.
Okay, the fifth one I would
Go
I would say
Angela
Angela
Bassett,
Bassett.
that's fine.
I do
Okay.
like Angela Bassett.
All right, my turn. Number 1 on my list is Elizabeth Taylor, and I know she was
No,
known
that's-
more for her looks, as she was the
No,
most
she's
beautiful
amazing.
actress or
That's a good
female
one.
actor
From
ever.
National
But,
Velvet.
Hey, listen, she won the Academy Award for Butterfield 8.
Yeah,
And
incredible.
You said National Velvet when she was a
She was
teenager.
a teenager,
but,
Andy Hardy movies.
okay, then Cleopatra,
Oh.
then Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which is one of my all-time favorites with Paul
Absolutely
Newman.
gorgeous.
Then Giant, which is an all-time classic,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Then I mentioned Who's Afraid of Virginia
Yeah.
Woolf. She is a powerhouse in this. She takes it over with her husband Richard Burton,
Yeah.
and she is the driving force of that movie,
Yeah.
which is a Mike Nichols project, and we know Rachel. And Taming of the Shrew, which is Shakespearean, but they brought it
Right.
to the big screen
Yeah.
with Richard Burton. And I can just go on
She
and
even
on.
did Mirror, Mirror in
She
her
did.
later
Okay.
years.
She did do that, and she is a force of
She's a
cinema.
legend.
She's legendary. Where she is a movie
Yeah.
star, flat out. When I saw her on the screen, she's the drop dead gorgeous of all time. Where
You know,
just
I once saw her on the street.
you did.
I was on
She always looked great.
56th Street, passing the St. Regis. I think it's 55th or 56th.
Yeah.
And I then became friends with Jose Abert, the
I thought
hair
you were going to
guy.
say you became friends with her.
No, I didn't. But Jose
All-time
Abert,
name drop.
Jose Abert is
Yes.
a famous hairstylist. This is before I met him, but I was walking by the St. Regis, and it was wintertime, and it was dark, like about 5:30. It was getting really dark, and coming down the steps was Elizabeth Taylor and Jose Abert, and she had a white mink coat down to her
She would.
shoes. Absolutely gorgeous,
And she
and you could
looked
almost see her eyes, how
stunning.
those lavender, yeah.
Hey.
The dark black hair.
Okay, so she's my number 1.
Okay, that's a good one.
You mentioned Faye Dunaway
Yep.
because Chinatown's my all-time
one of your
favorite
favorite
movie, and Jack
movies.
Nicholson's at the top
Yeah.
of my actors list.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have to go Faye, and you mentioned all of her work, and I threw
can't
in a
get
couple
better.
more
And
because
gorgeous.
she's another. She's just a movie star,
Oh,
and she
she's a
belongs
star.
in the top 5. So she's
And
number
beautiful.
2. She's
Oh,
different than Liz Taylor.
yeah.
Maybe sexier,
Yes.
beautiful, like
Oh,
seductively
her cheekbones
beautiful.
and her, just everything about Faye Dunaway.
Whew, Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, she just she's
Gorgeous.
a force of nature in that. And then, third on my list, I'm going to go with her, even though it's hard to justify epics, but
Yeah.
but Helen Mirren, and
Okay,
I must
had
admit,
Helen Mirren
okay,
coming into
all right,
mind, but then I
must
let her
admit,
out.
I'm so into Mobland right
Yeah,
now, and she has taken over
Yeah.
this series.
So you have
which
you
is
have
Guy
Helen
Ritchie.
on the brain.
Well, I do
But
have
she
her on
also
the
was
brain.
in that 1923.
She was in 1923, and she was great. She just takes over everything.
Yeah.
And then for years we watched Prime Suspect.
I
which,
loved her from Prime
you know,
Suspect.
and again, it's TV,
Yeah,
it's
but she was
BBC,
incredible.
and so I don't know if that qualifies as,
Well,
as,
I
as
had
a
her
movie
too, but
star.
then I had
But
to
then
bounce her.
remember her movies: The Queen,
Yeah.
Gosford Park, which I loved.
Yeah.
then The Madness of King George. I know these are all sort of Shakespearean type, but Hitchcock, which she played Hitch's wife, and she was sensational. And Golda Meir.
No, she's
okay,
incredible.
Hey, I don't know.
I love her too.
Okay, so I got her number 3.
Okay.
Number 4 is Cate Blanchett, and we've seen her
Tyler
recently.
That was on Tyler's list, our producer.
Producer Tyler Korn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had her also, but I just...
Okay, so Cate Blanchett did win the Academy Award for Blue Jasmine the Woody,
Yeah,
which you
that
thought was
I did
depressing.
not like
but she was not depressing in it.
No, she was fabulous.
I mean, she was just
and she's
fabulous.
Beautiful.
The Aviator, she wins the Academy Award for playing an actress in Katharine Hepburn.
Right.
Who won the Academy Award, so that worked. And then there was that recent Tar, and Don't Look Up, which we loved, which she took over.
And we just saw her in that
Black Bag.
But then I loved her where she played Bob Dylan.
That I'm Not There.
Yeah.
And I didn't
that's
love.
A range.
It was huge range.
Played
I
Bob
didn't
Dylan.
love the movie itself,
no, but to play Bob Dylan in character.
And I don't know
as
if you
Bob
remember
Dylan.
The Talented Mr. Ripley, and then Nightmare Alley. Remember that she did?
God, yeah.
God, yes. And then Notes on a Scandal.
I mean, everything she's done.
Okay, she's really gifted with great range.
Yeah.
So she's 4th on my list.
She's good. All right.
And I agree. She is our neighbor. I just saw her at the gym yesterday. But Jane Fonda. She's
iconic.
She's a
legend.
Hollywood legend. And by the way, I see her in the gym. She looks like she's 42 or whatever.
And the girl where I go to get my manicure, she does Jane's nails, and she told me yesterday. I went there to get a manicure, and she told me yesterday that she saw Jane on Friday before, and she said, the way Jane walks, she's just so straight, she walks like a model because she started out as a model.
She did.
She has that grace and posture at 86. Incredible.
She was with Ted Turner for a long
I know.
time.
Well, she's been with
and she was a sex symbol in Barbarella when I was in high school. It was like go to the drive-in movies movie.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
When we met her here and I asked her where to take my dog that time when she was walking her dog, and I just went over to her and I said, hi, I live here. And she said, oh, and I said, where do you take your dog? And she said, oh, you should call Hollywood Groomers and tell them Jane and Barbara Streisand sent you.
Oh, wow.
And I said,
That's
okay.
a duo.
And I shook her hand, and she almost broke my hand because she has such a strong handshake. And I said to her, I'm from New York. And she goes, oh, like I couldn't tell from my accent.
Her father, Henry, Grapes of Wrath, Academy Award.
Her brother, Peter Fonda. Come on.
God. Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda. They just have the touch of Hollywood.
That's royalty.
Royalty. Yeah.
Okay. That's our top 5, and we appreciate your question. And by the way, Happy to Be Here off last week's show said, oh, Skip shitted on another Ernestine top 5. Geez.
Oh, well.
And I just shitted on a couple of pieces of this top 5.
Send us your top 5. I'd like to hear
I
what
would
you
like
guys
to hear
think.
it, yeah. Okay. Speaking of, it's now time.
Hazel had a top 5.
She says she
had
did.
that. What was that? Chihuahua dogs in Beverly Hills. What was that movie? That was her top 1.
Beverly Hills.
And she said Cujo, but that's too
Cujo?
scary. She said that's a scary.
Cujo's like her 5th
Stephen
choice.
King. Cujo was also one of her favorites.
She's Cujo.
And then she liked that dog movie. What was the one with
Lassie?
No, Lassie. She always loves Lassie. No, the one with where. It's
Rin
a sad
Tin Tin?
story. Morley and Me. She liked
God.
Morley and Me.
Okay,
Those
way to
were
go,
her
Hazel.
top.
Hey, you got to calm down.
She said, I have to be in the dog.
Down.
Come here, little one. I got a little treat for you.
Here's a treat.
Here, that'll calm her down. There we go.
It is now time for Skip and Ernestine to go to the movies on the couch. We're usually on the couch, as in Shrink's couch, but now we're going to be on the couch to do our movies. We are now hooked on Friends and Neighbors starring John Hamm, and I believe this is the role of John Hamm's life. And I know he was in Mad Men and was It and was godlike
he's it
for
even
Mad Men.
more to
but
me.
this role was created for him, not by him, but for him, and he takes it over because you just buy he's this guy.
It's incredible.
Okay?
It's funny, but black comedy more than funny.
Yeah, it is.
And it's sad. But he's so powerful.
I'm not sure the story is real, but he is so real in the story.
It's so good.
And it's
everybody's good in there.
Edgy, and it's a thriller.
Yeah.
And it's high risk, high reward.
And it's very relatable in a way because You could go through what he did.
Yeah.
But Olivia Munn is great in it. Amanda
I told
Peet
you
is
after
great
we watched
in
the
it.
first episode, we had a quote-unquote disagreement.
We didn't fight.
Yeah, but I told you it was hard on me to watch it because it played like horror. Because what's my worst nightmare is that you just lose everything.
Yeah,
and
but
you
that's
have
what
to
he
resort
had.
to stealing from rich people that you associate with, that
Yeah.
you're friends and neighbors with,
Yeah.
right? That's the whole point of
But
it.
it's good. It's so good.
It's really well written.
It is.
The lines always work where you believe the dialogue.
And he narrates it kind of
He
Carrie
does.
Bradshaw.
Yeah, he does.
Sex
like
and the
Sex and the
City.
City. That's a good point.
It's
We
great.
can't wait for
Yeah.
the next episode
Yeah.
to drop.
It's really amazing.
And after John Hamm was so miscast in our friend Billy Bob's Landman, I just
I
thought he
didn't
was.
think that was.
I thought he was fish out of water. And he
Yeah.
looked uncomfortable and awkward in the role of the rich oil man who's Billy Bob's boss.
He's just so better
He's
in
no
this.
longer in Landman.
Yeah, but he
as
is
we go
really
to season
good
2.
in this.
Yeah, but this is made for him. And now you're way into the studio because the latest episode, I think it was the 7th of the
Eighth.
season. 8th?
No,
seventh.
seventh. Yeah, 7, because there's
called
only 8
Casting.
or 11 left.
And it was a
Oh my
parody, a lunacy parody about casting by stupid white people and who are trying to achieve racial sensitivity
good.
and awareness.
I laughed from beginning
and
to end.
it's about
I even made
stupid
my
white
friend
people.
Francesca watch, and she hasn't watched the series yet. And I said, "You don't even have to watch the whole series. Just go to that episode, and you'll get it." And
By
she
the
called
way,
me.
my man Ice Cube takes
Yeah.
it over
Yeah, Ice Cube was
down
in
the
it.
stretch of this episode.
And Francesca said,
It has to do with the Kool-Aid Man.
yeah, and Francesca said that she laughed so much and could relate to
It's
it.
crazy.
And now she's going back to watch the rest of the episodes before.
It was piercingly
Yeah.
correct.
You have to watch it. It's so good.
And I am now hooked beyond hooked on something she won't watch with me,
I'm out.
Mobland. Speaking of Helen Mirren, speaking of Pierce Brosnan, speaking of Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy could be, I think I put him in my 5 list somewhere. I said he could be Bond.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love him.
Well, he can be the enforcer for this Harrigan family. God.
He said it was a lot of fun making it. I saw an interview with him.
Okay.
He has fun.
It's actually the whole plot. It's soap opera-ish. It's Mobland soap opera. Guy Ritchie. There's always a little wink and nod involved. But Helen Mirren is the driving force in what has happened now, where she got insulted and how she responded to being insulted by the rival mob family. Well, she thought it was too bloody.
I can't.
And there are splashes of blood here and there.
Yeah. But I can't take the violence.
You know what? It's not like that Havoc with Tom Hardy that I still haven't finished yet, but she wouldn't even start. And I don't blame her for that one because that is gore. That is bloody gore.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
That's a horror movie. But
no way.
Mobland, big thumbs up.
Okay.
I'd give you 2 thumbs up, but 1 is under Hazel right now, so I'm
They're
stuck.
on my hand. Okay.
Whew. Okay. This is Lauren from Jacksonville, Florida. Speaking of Hazel, do you ever get mad at Hazel? And if you do, what caused it?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have a story?
Let's see. Last week, I tried to
Leave?
No. She had to go down to get washed. See, she doesn't like that word. She knows that
She
word.
knows that
I'm not
word.
saying it
No,
now.
she's not.
It's okay. She had to go
Maybe
down
later.
because the people were waiting to groom her, and
No, it's okay.
she
Hey,
doesn't
you gotta
like.
wait.
The
You
words
gotta
are
wait.
bad. She doesn't like it. So I tried to get her
if you say
to
the
pick her
names
up.
M-A-R-Y
Yeah,
to
she
her,
knows
she
that,
goes,
yeah.
she flips. I know, it's okay.
Anyway,
Thank you.
I tried to pick her up
Thank you.
to get her, carry her down the steps to go downstairs, and she
She
knew
thinks she's going out
she
now.
can sense when they're downstairs.
No.
She knows
Yeah,
that the mobile unit is here.
she knows.
So she starts to flip, and then I tried to get her, and she would not let me pick her up, and so I have to
you
play a
gotta
game.
wait.
It's okay. I have to play a game, and I have to pretend I'm sitting back down again, and everything is okay, and then she comes over to me, but she wouldn't do it. She was really jacked up. So I walked out of the room, I came back in, and she was sad that I left the room, and she was happy to see me, and I went to pick her up, and as I was I walked in, she grabbed my leg, and she bit the back of my leg. She didn't break the skin, but she gave me a big black and blue,
Oh, it's
and
close
it was
to broken.
red.
Yeah,
And-
it's a
and then
bad
after that, she
bite,
let me pick her
bruise,
up.
Bad. It's big, red, welty.
So I brought her down, and I told Sam, who was doing it for his mom that day, And he said, oh, yeah, we have dogs that know when we pull up. They can sense.
Okay. Just me?
Once she goes down, she's fine, because then she gets massaged and
I'm
washed.
spare the rod, spoil the child.
please.
Well, I just am.
Yeah, right.
And right from the start.
Beat her up. She's 8 pounds. Beat her up. Come on,
she's
come
10
on, come on.
pounds.
Well,
and she plays
9.
way bigger than
Yeah,
she is.
right.
I just made it clear to her from the start, there are certain things that she's not going to get away with, or she's going to get a rap on the snout. And I'm not going to bring
try getting
blood.
her. You can't even wrap her on the snout.
Okay, well, I do.
Oh, you're the big bad man.
Well,
you're the big bad
she
Kool-Aid
knows
man.
when I've had enough.
Mr.
And I just tell her
Kool-Aid.
that's enough of that.
Oh, and she listens. All
she
right.
She is a biter by nature. She's got reflex biting. I mean, you can't even put her harness over her head.
Put her harness? You can't even go to pick her up.
Yeah.
Forget that. So the
just
answer
wish
is yes.
That once, I told you from the start, if you want to use a newspaper, they don't
please,
even have,
I've tried it. It doesn't work. I've taken the magazine and...
You got to whack her and
I'm
just
not
say,
whacking
that
her.
will not be
I'm
allowed
not whacking
in this
her.
house.
I'm sorry.
You let
Not
her run the
whacking her.
household.
I'm not whacking you.
Okay.
I'm not going to whack you.
So she was very mad at
Well, I was
Hazel.
mad at her because I had this
And so
bruise on my
they fought
leg.
all the rest of the day,
Yeah.
and I had to kind of
Oh,
intervene.
yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, you had to referee.
Okay, so yes, she gets mad at Hazel, but she does not punish Hazel ever.
I don't care. I'm not going to. I mean, I'll yell at her.
We have spared the rod, she has, and we have spoiled the child.
Whatever.
Diva
Whatever.
can get away with whatever.
Whatever.
Okay, now for some rapid fire advice Q&A. We're going to go fast on these.
Okay.
Tanner from Clemson, South Carolina. I'm about to go out with someone for the first time. Would you suggest bringing her a gift? If so, what should I bring? Or is a gift too much on a first date?
I think if you've spoken to her a few times and you had some good conversations, it's nice maybe bring her some flowers.
I'm a big no on this one. Big no. It's just too soon.
No, it's not.
You don't need to come on that strongly.
Bring her a daisy.
Probably a
You don't have to
mistake.
bring her a big
I would bring her
arrangement. Just bring her a
nothing.
little thing of posies.
If it's your first date and your first face-to-face, I don't know if you know her at all, but
Well,
if it's your
that's
first
what I said.
face-to-face, just let it happen. Let it evolve.
No.
Don't put the pressure on her. She's going to think, oh, now.
No, it's a nice, sweet thing. If you've had conversations with her, I say bring her a little bouquet of something. Next.
Disagree.
Well, whatever.
Daphne from Boston, Massachusetts. I recently got fired from my job. We're sorry to hear that.
Sorry.
I'm thinking about going on a trip just to get away from it all. Would you suggest that, or should I dive right back into the workforce?
Take a little time. I say take a week or two, because once you go back into the workforce, you're not going to be able to take time away. So you just need to clear your head. Even if you stay around the house or stay home and just do some things local, just clear out for a week. That's me.
Daphne, if you're built the way I am,
he won't go. Please.
Dive back in, especially if you have an opportunity that sounds pretty good. Everybody seems to get fired once or twice. Everybody
I've been
gets
fired like
okay.
5 times.
Okay. It just happens, so don't take it personally.
No, it's them. It's not you.
Don't let it eat at your self-worth.
No.
And that's why if there's an option out there.
Well, if they offer her a job and they said, "Hey, can you start on Monday?" She could always say, "Okay, I could start, but I have a vacation plan that was planned, and I need a week and 2 months or something."
I'm sure that's the right way to get
People
off on the
do it all
right
the
foot
time.
in your new job.
People do it all the time. Anyway.
I don't know. Just don't go somewhere and feel sorry for yourself. You don't need to do that.
Everybody gets fired.
Okay, this is Ronnie from New York, your favorite place in the world.
So nice, they named it twice.
I'm going for a job interview next week. Should I wear a suit and tie, or does that come across as too much? Asks Ronnie from New York.
I think, personally, suit and tie, depending on the job. I mean, if you're going, I don't know, with the type of job, but I always think, you dress for the person you want to be in that company, and so if it's a office type of thing, I would wear a suit and tie.
Okay. For once, and on the final question, we completely agree.
Yeah.
Dress for success.
Totally.
Look the part. Show them that, again, I don't know exactly what the job
Yeah.
is. I mean, maybe if it's a casual type job, you'd look way overdressed,
Right.
but I don't think you can in a job interview.
Just for the interview.
You should look like you're serious
Professional.
about
Yeah.
this job,
agree.
that you want the job, and you're going to take it seriously because you take your appearance seriously, and you can't lose
No.
in a suit and tie. You
No.
just can't. Okay, this is Alex from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Oh.
Long way from here. Your place always looks spotless, says Alex. How do you keep it so clean?
Thank you,
Ask
Alex.
her.
Because I'm
She's
anally
a neat freak.
clean
God.
freak.
All time.
I don't like things out of place.
No, her job in life is to follow me around the house and clean up
pick
after
up
me.
if he drops things. I like everything in its place, and my mother, always taught me and my brother and sister that you should never leave your house without your bed made. So I always make the bed before,
She does.
I don't leave any dirty dishes in the sink. I don't leave clothes out. Everything gets hung up. That's me.
Okay, what you need to know about her, bedrock Ernestine, is she always cleans up before the housekeeper
Well,
comes.
I do.
She cleans so that the housekeeper doesn't have anything to
No,
clean.
I just
because she
wanted
wants the housekeeper. She wants even the housekeeper to think that she keeps a spotless house.
Well, that's what I do, and I've always done it. When I had a studio apartment in New York City, I had a cleaning girl once a week would come in, and I'd clean before the cleaning woman came. I don't want them to see my house dirty.
This is what I live
who
with,
I am.
and I value it.
Yeah.
I cherish it.
And Hazel
It's
gets
precious.
clean too. When we walk Hazel outside,
Yeah.
when we come in, I wash her feet
She's
down.
being happy Hazel. When she happy pants like that, she's happy.
She said, because
she
my
also might
mom
be
cleans
hot.
me too. She said, my feet get
Oh,
dirty and my mom
you're
cleans
sleepy.
me.
Okay,
There
you
you
can
go.
go to sleep.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Well, look how
do we have
spotless
anything
Spot
else?
is. She's Spot, and yes, we got one last question. Sam from Houston, Texas. Sorry about your Rockets. Skip, loved the Stones T-shirt on
I
last
love
week's
that
episode,
Rolling
as in
Stones
Rolling
t-shirt.
Stones. For you both, your favorite Stones song is. You go.
I like Ruby Tuesday.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh.
That's one
one of
song
my
I
favorite
don't
songs.
like. Goodbye, Ruby
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
love that song.
Who could hang a name
Yeah.
on you?
I mean, I have a million Stones songs I like. I like
hope
old
so.
Stones music, and I also like Keith Richards solo stuff and Mick Jagger solo stuff. So,
Okay.
but I like Ruby
And she's
Tuesday.
a student of the Rolling Stones. I do prefer Beatles slightly over
Yeah, you
Stones.
do.
Just the
I like
catalog's
Stones.
bigger, but the Stones
Jagger
are really
is, and Keith
really
Richards,
good.
who I love.
Okay, so I've always said for years and years that "Gimme Shelter" is
That's
it
a good
for me.
song.
It's a great song. I used to think it was just a shout away. It's just a shot away. That's
Yeah,
what the lyrics
that's a
say.
good.
But the more I've thought about it, for the sake of this question, is once upon a time in 1986, I was a columnist in Dallas for the Dallas Times-Herald, and D Magazine did a story about all the big gun Dallas columnists at the time. And I guess I was the biggest gun because they put me on the cover, and because of a quote that was in the story about how just once I'd like to be Mick Jagger at the Cotton Bowl playing for 80,000 people and just feel the force coming through my microphone.
Right.
My every little flinch gets a rise out of the crowd.
Yeah.
So you get a little of that in writing columns or doing television, but not like Mick Jagger.
No.
And so they put me on the cover dressed as quote unquote Mick Jagger, and the song that we did the photo shoot to, the whole photo shoot that went on for like 7 hours for one shot,
Yeah.
was Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Wow, that's a good song.
It's a gas.
That's a great song.
And it's kind of it. It's
Yeah.
kind of the essence of the Rolling Stones, and it's more of a dance song than "Gimme
Yeah.
Shelter" is. "Gimme Shelter" is pretty.
Didn't we
sad.
watch that Martin Scorsese? It was at the Ballroom, wasn't it, in New York? He did.
did.
It was a documentary.
documentary.
Christina Aguilera was in
Yeah.
it. It was great with the Stones.
Yeah.
Oof. If you didn't see that, you should see that.
Right, they're still kicking.
Oh,
in their
man.
80s now.
Yes.
God,
They're
they can
incredible.
Still do it. Okay. That is it for round 23. Please remember, go and subscribe right now to our new channel.
Yeah.
It's youtube.com. She's excited we're finished. youtube.com/@skip vs Ernestine. Skip versus Ernestine. youtube.com/@skip versus Ernestine. Please subscribe right now to our new YouTube
free.
channel.
It's free.
And we will see you next week if, in fact, we're still speaking to each other.
We're speaking.
We hope
Peace
so.
out. Peace out. Thank you.